Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Keith and Glory.
We're Not Sorry, your new favorite podcast where two lifelong best friends bring you lighthearted banter on all things pop culture, fashion, music, and everything in between. With 30 years of friendship under our belts, we're diving into hot topics, real life stories, and playful debates. And we want to bring you along for the ride.
Hi.
Glory.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I've never been better, Keith. I've never been better.
I am just so glad to hear that. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Keith
Welcome.
and Glory.
We're not sorry, and we're not sorry you're here because we are loving doing our podcast.
I know. Glad you guys came back.
Yeah.
How was your week, Glory?
It's been going good. It's very cold here in Georgia for us. I know it's nothing compared to where you live, but the whole city is shut down. We've had no school days. It's the second snowfall in a few weeks. Like the kids are going nuts. There's snowmen on like every single house because we've got like a snowman competition going on in our neighborhood. It's crazy.
Oh,
But yeah,
wow. Like when the South gets snow,
oh,
it
it's
all
everything
goes
shuts
downhill.
down. It's like
Literally sledding.
sledding, it's like an inch of snow, not even, and ice, but the thing is we don't have the infrastructure for it, so the roads are horrible, no one can drive, people are going off no one has winter tires, like, nobody's prepared for this.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I just put on my all seasons and giver.
We don't do all seasons in Giver down here, it's just summer, summer, and summer.
So, what are you
Okay.
drinking this week to get you warmed up in hot
Well, I don't put
Atlanta?
warmed up, but I'm just having my good old classic, a nice cab, so cheers to you. I
Cheers.
love a good cab. What are you drinking?
I've got a dirty doctor this time. I've got a
Oh, a
little bit of
dirty
vodka.
doctor.
Right. I've got a little bit of vodka with Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar.
Okay. So, like, we went
One
from
more
skinny
thing.
bitch to dirty doctor. Like, I feel like your drinks really have unique names.
Do you know what? I just made up that dirty doctor name tonight.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
made it up. It's actually
it
not a
might be a
thing.
thing. I don't know, but
Okay, well, we've just coined it.
I've been obsessed with Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. So I was like, let me change it up for cocktail of the week. Because I think, as we talked about before, I've been drinking vodka Diet Pepsi, skinny bitches since grade 10.
I've never known you to drink Dr. Pepper. Like, this is new.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
just really
So
branching out.
you really are. I'm proud of you. So, what is on the go today? How about you? How was your week?
It was really good. Yeah,
What-
just working, living life, loving life.
can I tell you how much I loved? So, I had an article published this week, and you did that in your class this week.
Yes.
Oh my god, can you talk about it? Because that was amazing.
Well, first, people can check our socials to read this article, and I'm sure it's going to be in many other publications. But the one article we're talking about is from Women's Journal, and it's about Glory's rise through her career, starting at in the oil rigs and ending up at the top tech company of the world.
Yeah, it's been a ride.
And what I loved about this article is because this was for Women's Journal, but it took a real female spin on it, where inspiring the young women and stuff. And I thought, oh my god, I would love the kids in my class to read this. So I brought it in and taught a lesson about Glory Jewett, which is something I never thought I would do.
I never thought I'd make it in Women's Journal. So you know what? There you go. I mean,
Right. Well,
I know.
cheers to you. I'm so
Cheers
proud of
to
you.
you. Cheers to you and your doctor dirty. Dirty doctor. What is it?
Dirty doctor.
Dirty
Making
doctor.
doctors dirty.
Okay. So I'm excited for this episode because you gave me a bit of a sneak peek of what we're going to be doing. And I think the listeners are going to love the tidbits you have to tell them.
I might regret this because I'm kind of embarrassed about it, but I've pulled this out at like random dinner parties of mine and stuff. It's journals that I wrote when I was in grade 5 in 1988.
We are reading Keith's grade 5 diary. Like, I
And
don't
like
even know this. I haven't seen it. Just for the listeners, this is going to be new to me as it is to you, and I cannot wait.
And I cannot believe I'm doing this. This is super embarrassing. Not only are you at your most like you kind of don't care what anybody thinks at that age, but I was a weird kid, obviously. Okay?
Well, tell us. Let's talk about you in grade 5, or are we gonna get into it?
Yeah, well, grade 5, it was 1988.
Okay.
I was obsessed with the 1988 Calgary Olympics, and now I live in Calgary, living my dream. I'm not kidding. I VHS'd every single, like, recorded, and I had VHS tapes lined up
Of, like, what, the Olympics? So what was your
of the
favorite
Olympics, the
sport?
ski racing, of
Okay.
course.
Why did I never know this?
Alberto Tomba for the
Oh, okay.
Italian team. He was my
Uh,
favorite.
was he cute?
He was.
Was that why he was your favorite?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is gonna be kind of embarrassing for me, but I just want to start the tone. This episode of I don't know what we're gonna call it. I thought like Tales of a Fifth Grade Keith, because Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, but maybe people wouldn't know
Tales
that.
of a 5th grade Keith. I am obsessed. Let's go.
So just to set the tone, I thought January 17th, 1988. Now, this is so embarrassing. Now I've named my journal Bobby for some reason. So so there's that. And that's like the one most normal thing about this.
How many like, I just need to know, I think we need to do we're gonna read a page every episode. How many episodes do we have of content is what I want to know with Bobby.
We've got some with Bobby, and then
Oh,
you'll
Bobby's
hear
my
what
ex-husband's
happens.
name, like, I don't know
I
why I
know,
put
I didn't realize that till just now. And then I have so this is like the grade 5 one, but then like Keith got a little edgy, and then
Oh.
yeah, I'm holding up a journal with like, what does it say on it? Peace, Heather's, Depeche Mode. I
Oh,
was like,
Heathers.
I loved that movie when I was a kid. I just thought it was so edgy.
Okay,
Okay, so
let's
back
get
to
back
grade
to okay,
5,
back to
Keith.
Bobby.
Back to so just to set the tone, today I'm going to take you through my athletic journey as a basketball player in my grade 5 journal. But this first journal just sets the tone a little bit of
Okay,
like,
can I just set the tone and now that Keith is like the least athletic person I know, especially
excuse me, don't
basketball.
ruin
Like,
the
you're
don't ruin
okay, don't
the
ruin
end
it. Okay.
thing. So now January 17th, 1988.
Okay.
Now, Bobby, let me tell you about myself.
Oh,
I'm the
you
most
actually everything you talk to Bobby like it's person. Okay. All right.
like, I'm not kidding. Bobby, my man, I say. So embarrassing.
Okay,
So
go.
now, Bobby, let me tell you about myself. I'm the most popular in grade 5.
Oh!
First thing
Thank God.
I'm the most popular in grade 5. I'm trying out for the Sherbrooke Wildcats basketball team. I have a pretty good chance, everybody thinks. My Nana Rose is 61 and my Papa Leo is 63. This is boring, so I gotta go. Love, Keith.
Oh, that's it? That's all we're
That's
giving them?
that's just the first one, okay?
Okay, well, you know what, Bobby, I liked it. And did you
Okay.
make the team? Can you say?
You're this we're
Or we're
going through
just
my
gonna find
story
out as
arc.
we go? Okay. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. I certainly did.
January 14th. So I just wanted to let everybody know how popular I was in grade 5 before we started this. Okay.
Like,
I
you
feel like that's
clearly thought
important. So January 14th. Bobby, do you know what? That's my story. Bobby, do you know what? We had a basketball practice today. I think I made the team. Today at practice, we played shirts and skins. I was
Oh,
skins. I was embarrassed because I'm fat though, but I'm not as fat as my
oh,
cousin.
oh, wow,
Then
you're
it says,
popular and rude.
I want to exactly. I want to get a basketball and a basketball net or hoop. So far, I have $25. I can hardly wait till summer so I can shoot hoops and swim. I have
Oh.
a pool. I have a pool. I better go. Love, Keith.
I
Okay,
love that you sign off by love. Okay, you really loved
me
Bobby.
and Bobby.
Do you remember why you named it Bobby? Like, do we have any context there or no?
No, I don't remember a lot of this. Thank
Okay.
God. So January 16th, I'm still in the basketball, but I was also a ski racer.
Okay.
Hey, Bob.
Oh, you shortened it. Okay. Okay, Bob it is.
Hey, Bob. I had a Nancy Green race today. I came 13th over 93 people. Pretty
Oh,
good. Pretty good, hey?
oh.
I
Ah,
really like to involve the reader.
you did.
I went to Zeller's and got a basketballs. Patrick Ewing's autograph. It's a Voight. Right. I don't have much more to say, so I better go. Love Keith Jeffrey Madge. Bam.
Jeffrey Match, like Easter. Bob got your middle name on that one.
Okay, January 21st.
Okay.
No greeting. I didn't make the team, Bobby.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Keith Jeffrey.
It says, I'm so peed off.
Oh!
Wait, I really don't have much to write about today. There were 3 people who didn't make the team, and I was one of them.
Oh,
Love
no, not
Keith.
popular Keith Jeffrey.
Not so popular with the coaches. But then, just so you know, I didn't lose my confidence. Next day on January 22nd, hey, Bob, I'm the best in my math group. We saw
Oh!
some, and
Trying to switch the subject.
I was in the low math group of like every year, and I was like, we saw some presentations today. They were pretty cool, if you know what I mean. Not as good as mine.
Oh.
Love Keith. So
Okay, wow.
just
Just
a
a
little
little taste of
taste.
what you were like in 5th grade.
My basketball career, it didn't go too far. The arc didn't
Clearly.
last long, let me tell you.
I mean, in your mind, you were a superstar. Keep reaching for those stars, though. I mean, I love the confidence. You know what? All
Thanks.
kids should have that.
I know.
How'd your
And it's
math career
funny,
go?
years later, as a teacher, went into coaching because,
Uh-huh.
as a first year teacher, and I was like, "Whoa, what the hell do I know about any sports?" So I was doing volleyball, and I was coaching with this friend of mine, and they're on the court or whatever, and being encouraging is probably the best thing I could do. So I'm like, "Yeah, give it up for Adam." Good stuff, Adam. Adam's on fire. Give it up for Adam. And the other coach looks at me. He's like, "You sound like a DJ." And
Oh,
"Well, I've never heard a lot more DJs than I have coaches."
that
I'm
is
like,
true.
"Adam's on fire. Give it up!" Like,
Oh my gosh. I
so
can't even
funny.
picture you as a
What
coach. You probably didn't know
sports
the
did you
rules.
play?
Okay, none. The
Yeah,
only thing I'm good at is downhill skiing-ish. Like, I can
and I mean, yeah, the only thing you could do.
I was a Nancy Green. I was a racer back in the
Okay,
day.
well, I don't. We'll see if you make a appearance in
I
the
mean, I
Great
need to
Flood
ask my mom to
Diaries.
find my diaries, I think. I'm sure they're somewhere
Oh my god,
in Thunder
yes.
Bay. Yeah.
So
No, but I'm not
funny.
athletic. I mean, I will totally own that. But neither are
Um,
you. So, I mean,
no. However, I was like a swimmer and skier competitively.
swimmer, I will give you.
And skier. I was on it was called the Lake Superior Division.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
years ago, Jay Leno, this is really aging us, but he had this big thing on Monday nights for headlines. And our ski thing was in the headlines one night because Lake Superior Division, it was like LSD ski night in Thunder
Right.
Bay, Ontario. Jay Leno came on to us. Anyway, funny.
Okay, so, like, was your name there? Like, what's the point of the story?
No, that it
Just that they
was
called
that.
out the team? Okay.
Well, yeah, because the LSD ski night, like acid.
Oh, got it.
Okay, well, now that turned weird.
Well, you know what's like, the luck of the draw when I go to hockey games or when I don't go to a lot of 'em down in the South, but I'm always the person that's their number gets called, and I always have to go down to, like, the center rink or, like, play the game or, like, do something. This has happened to me multiple times. The first time I had to go to the center of the ice, and I was younger. I was, like, in teens with my family. My program got called from the center of the ice and shoot a puck into, like, a little hole at the end of the rink, and I was me and 2 other guys that played hockey all the time. Well, looky-loo who got it
Really?
in first shot. I
Yeah.
won like $50 worth of gas and a signed hockey stick or
Oh,
something.
wow.
I know. And then
That
a
was
few years ago, remember when I was visiting my sister, my I got this guy's like, "You need to come play this game," and I had to name as many dog breeds as I could, and I had to go against the hockey player. Won again, I'm telling you. Maybe I'm
yeah.
not athletic,
And you
but
were
I
on the
somehow
Jumbotron,
I was on the
right?
Jumbotron, yeah, mhm.
You didn't get discovered like Pamela.
I know, not my claim to fame. I know, I should've. Anyway,
You didn't like sports when you were a kid, did you? One thing that I loved, even as like a little kid, was music.
I
Like, do
love
you remember
music.
your first what would it be, like a tape that you got first? Or like what's
Yes,
the
I remember my
first
first tape.
what is it?
Tracy Chapman and U2 and the Joshua Tree. I
Ooh,
remember I
both
got them
great
both
classics.
for yeah, for Christmas, and I played them over and over and over. Flip the tape.
Mine was for my birthday in grade 2. Madonna, Like a Virgin. That was my first tape.
Shocking.
My first record was Blondie, Call Me.
Okay,
What was
cool.
your
I
first
remember back in the
CD?
records. Ooh, I don't know if I remember. Like, it was back around I think CDs were coming out right when we, like, loved The Counting Crows and, like, I feel like, right? Like, that era?
Totally.
I mean, you and I bonded over my CD book in my car. I think that's how we instantly became friends.
Yeah, with the
Like,
love of music. I remember sitting in like your little CRX and those
my
CD
two-seater.
books.
Right.
And everybody just had those CD books. We traded CD books and we both had kind of like not obscure music taste, I would say, not just like the typical pop stuff. And we had so much in common. It was kind of like an instant
Eclectic, like,
bond.
it's a range. I like a range. I like
Mhm.
oldies, I like techno a little bit, I like I like a whole host. I like, a little Bon Iver. I like it all, A whole
So, what
mix.
kind of music would you say like you're not sorry about? Like what's like well they say guilty pleasure, but as I say, we should have no guilt in any of our
I
pleasures.
think all of it. Like, I don't think there is one that I don't love. I think things that I don't listen to all the time, maybe old school country, maybe
Or like a guilty pleasure would be like, you're blaring it, singing along, but you pull up at a stoplight or a parking lot
that's
and
all
you
my
turn it
jams.
right down.
It
I
depends on the
know.
year. I love and again, it's like a whole host. Like, what is my guilty pleasure right now? What's in my playlist right now? What's in your playlist right now?
Mm,
Oh, you're gonna pull
so
it up?
many. Yeah,
Okay,
like I was gonna
my
look at
thumbs up
the
right now is kind of more like Morgan Wallen. I'm kind of into the country vibe right now. Shaboozie's new one, I kind of into that. I like Teddy Swims. So kind of more in that realm. Khalid, kind
oh
of
yeah,
like
you
newer.
do
But
like
then
Khalid.
I was just listening with my brother was here on the weekend and we were listening to like Bon Iver sound like radio where it's kind of more slower and kind of like whatever.
Really?
Do you know what I was telling you? But also then we skipped to Rufus Du Sol, who's like a DJ who's coming here in a few months. And I'm like, oh, I'm obsessed with this song. So I'm all over the map. Depends on my day.
Yeah, same with me, I would
Hmm.
say. Like I've got musical taste from like all over and my like heavy rotation, like Apple Music does the heavy rotation. I've got like everything from like Victim Candy Station, which is like a disco song.
Okay.
And then I also like this song by this. So this is like Lola Young. She's this new UK artist. She blew up on TikTok with that song that Sophia Richie danced to, like, but I'm too messy and I'm too fucking clean.
Oh,
She told me. You don't know that song?
ladies and gentlemen, you got Keith Madge on the radio today.
Just kidding. But okay, so I have some questions for you.
Oh God.
How
Okay, here we go.
old certain songs are.
Okay. I'm so bad at
So
games. Why am I always the one that has to play the games? Next time you're
I
getting
know maybe I'll make a game for you to do for me
yeah,
next
okay.
time. So, how old do you think the song Dancing Queen by ABBA is?
Oh God. 40 years old?
Okay, close. It's actually 47,
Hmm.
soon to be 48. It was the number one song of the week I was born. And I
Ah,
think it's so suiting.
that was the number 1 song, Dancing Queen? Well, that makes a lot now it all makes sense. Okay, got
Okay.
it. Okay.
How old do you think the song My Sharona is by the Knack?
Mm. 30 something, 36?
Well, that was a number 1 hit of September 1979,
Oh, 45.
right?
Mhm.
What about Gin and Juice? Like, we rocked
Ooh,
that.
gin and juice. That's gotta be God, I'm aging myself. That's gotta be, like, 25 years old, maybe more, 30?
31.
Yeah, oh, 31. Okay.
One song that totally reminds me of you, and I think would be our song, would probably be "Anna Begins" by the Counting Crows.
Mhm.
Back in that, like, grunge era, which was a great time to grow up in music.
It really was. And, yeah, no, Counting Crows was a great band. Like, I remember that album, like, I loved front to back. Like, it was good.
And then they came out with a live album, which was even better because they kinda switched up some of their songs and stuff. It
Yeah,
was
remember,
so
like, the
good.
singer, like, dated, like he was dating, like, some hot women, like Jennifer Aniston, I think Courtney Cox too, like yeah,
Yes.
like,
Yeah,
he dated
he
them both,
dated
which
them
is
all.
kinda weird because
And
'cause they're
Laura
so
Flynn Boyle, do you remember her?
No.
Oh, she was like a star back in the 2000s. She was like on some show. She dated Jack Nicholson. She was
Hmm.
kind of like, she was on maybe like Ally McBeal, kind of like she was like a
I don't know what the
brunette
appeal
kind
to
of.
him. What do we think? Do we think he had sex appeal? Maybe he's a musician, so he, like, has that.
Jack Nicholson?
No, no, no. The lead singer of Counting
Oh,
Crows.
I think his name's Adam Duritz or
Yeah, it's
something like that.
okay.
Adam, anyway.
We're
I do not see the sex appeal in him, and there are a lot of musicians that, like, if I saw walking down the street and they were like a chef or like something else that I probably wouldn't think are attractive, but when
right.
you see them on stage, like,
Yeah,
who would be
performing.
someone. Well, I can't say anymore, but a good example of, like, when I was younger would be, like, Kid Rock. I
Yeah.
used to love Kid Rock, but I'm like, if I saw, like, some guy walking down the street that looked like him, I'd probably cross the street. And I do not feel that way about Kid Rock anymore.
No, like, I haven't even seen him as, like, the last few years, like, has he aged? It's funny how all these sort of, like, old school bands, like, these people are they're looking older.
Well, I mean, most of us are too.
Well, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
So how old is Anna Begins?
That's gotta be 30 years. 30? Right on the nose?
31.
Oh, okay.
Pretty
I see,
close.
I'm
That
not
was a good
bad at
one.
this game. Okay.
Another song that reminds me of you and I is Hard to Concentrate by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes. Oh my
It-
gosh. This reminds me of going out to my lake house, you and me driving in your what was the car? Your Element
Honda
DeGeneres, we used to call it.
Element.
Your Honda Element, your
And I
Element DeGe
called it the Element DeGeneres.
Yeah, it's this if you don't know what this car is, it's like that boxy Honda, old school, kinda looked like a Jeep. Like, I loved it when you
I
got
mean,
it.
it
By
looked
the
like a
end of it, I think it
toaster.
had 1 mirror. It was, like,
Oh, yeah,
scraped
it
up
was
the
beat
side.
up.
You rode that thing.
I am not a good driver yet. Had one mirror because at the time I was living in a condo building and I parked beside this pole. So, I mean, I would just hit it all the time.
Okay.
Actually, the most, oh God, I'm really embarrassing myself this episode, but the most embarrassing accident I was ever in, and I've unfortunately been in a lot, is I was downtown and I was driving, and in Canada they have not all over Canada, but they have cameras at lights. So take your
Red
picture at
light
yellow
cameras,
lights,
they're
red
the
lights.
worst.
So I'm driving downtown and I'm going through there, and then the light turns yellow and then red. So I stop and then I reverse because people had to walk and I was on the line. So I reversed and I sat there, and then the light goes green. Slam on my gas. I was still in reverse. And I hit the person behind me.
I'm gonna do
Try
that in
to
my new
explain that
car.
to your insurance company. They're like, wait, I was like, I rear-ended someone, but
I was in front of them.
yeah, I'm not a very good driver.
Okay, back to the question at hand.
The questions at hand. Okay, what about My First Tape, Madonna Like a Virgin? How old do you think that one
No,
is?
the question at hand
Oh,
was, why was why that Honda Element, why would do we love that song? And the story that
oh,
goes with
Hard to
it.
Concentrate, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah,
So we were
driving out
at,
to my lake house.
yeah, Oh, do we
in
want to?
in Canada,
Oh, do we
driving
want to?
down the highway, and
Oh, in the
this is
Honda
years
Element.
ago. Let me preface this is years
And the
ago.
Honda Element has chairs that fold up on the side, and it's, like, quite a big car. You can hose it out, and I don't know why I got it. But, so we're driving from one of our friends' houses to Glory's house,
And I
and
think I was swimming. Were we swimming?
we were
I had to
swimming,
s
yeah.
so I had to change. I was like, "I'm just gonna go change in the back of the Honda Element. Don't look, Keith." So here I am changing on the expressway. We're going down
The highway,
all
yeah.
the highway. All of a sudden, the police lights come on and they pull us over. And so Keith's dad,
No,
back where
I
we
grew
grew up. Oh,
uh, oh, yeah, no, I was just gonna say I grew up with a father as a policeman, probably, like, the worst nightmare, but
used to pull us out of parties all the time. We'd be like, "Keith, your
yes,
dad's here. The police
I
are
would
here.
get
Oh, it's your dad." We'd run out the back.
I would get pulled over by cops for, like, speeding or something, and I would be like, they would see my license and be like, "Okay," and I'd be like, "Do you know what? Just give me the ticket, just don't tell my dad."
They
Like, I would
always
way
let you off.
rather
They
I always let me off,
always
but I
let
was
you off.
told my dad, I'm like, "Well, just give me I'd rather pay than the
So
wrath."
anyway, I'm changing in the back. The cop pulls us over, and she comes up to the window, and of course, the first thing Keith says is, "I'm Stan Madge's son."
No, no, no.
Yeah.
She said, something, some type of introduction of some kind, I don't know. And then she said, "Have you been pulled over before?" And I
Yeah.
said, "Well, I've been pulled over a lot, but I've never had a ticket because my dad's a cop." And I was like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that." And I am known for having to put my foot in my mouth all
Yes.
the time.
Mhm,
So
and
I
then
said,
she and
"Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that." And then she says, "Oh, well, the passenger is not wearing a seatbelt." And I was like, "Oh, she was just getting changed in the back." And I was like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that either."
Anyway, needless to say, we got off the ticket, and we kept
Just moved
going.
on.
Yeah, shocking. Anyway,
So we
that's why
ended
that
up
song reminds me of you, 'cause I think we're jamming to that song that day, and that's when we got
and
pulled
that
over.
night, because your mom and Ian were in the place, so we were young and we were partying, sup for the sum. It was
Uh-huh.
that night, and we wanted to blare music, so we were sitting in my car blaring music in the driveway, and then your mom comes out like, "You
What are you
guys, like,
2
we can
doing?
all hear that still." We
Like,
just
sound travels on lakes so bad.
and we just thought we were just rocking away.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a good
Um,
day.
so funny. But yeah, music to me, like, bonds, like, when you have that song and it just reminds you of a certain person or reminds you of a certain
For sure.
place, all those things.
How about
So,
concerts? Like, what do you guys like, let's talk about
ooh,
concerts.
love.
What's your fave?
My
All-time fave?
favorite concert ever might be like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, just because they had a great
Mm.
catalog. It was a great, like, party concert. I
I went to see that
loved
with one of our friends, which I will remain anonymous. One of our Healy sisters, I'll leave it at that. And the 2 of us were up in the nosebleeds, and this is back in the day where we thought we had it, right? We're like, "Oh, we can get onto this stage." And so we literally walked down, I think, like, 17 flights of stairs to get down into the pit, and we were like, doing our thing, thinking we're just gonna get in. The doorman's like, "Let me see your bracelets." And we're like, "Well, we just wanna get," trying to flirt our way onto the and he's like, "No bracelet, back up." And I looked at her, and I was like, "Damn it." So we had to go all the way back
Oh
to
my
the
god.
top of the
That
arena. It was a
reminds me
little
of
embarrassing. Normally, it works. I've gotten backstage on a lot of I've go with me to concerts. I've met a lot of the
yeah.
bands. Yeah.
Like, what's your favorite concert backstage?
Well, I've been to a couple. So I have a couple, like, met the band good stories. One of them was Snoop Dogg. So my girlfriend and I, and she knows who she is, so she's listening, went to Snoop Dogg, where's 2 of us, and we had standing rooms. It was a smaller venue. I can't remember it was. I think it was in Calgary. And I was like, we need to get to the front of this like dance floor. So we're those 2 jerks that like started at the back of the bus. And like by the time the concert was over, we were like front row stage,
Yeah.
trying to do our thing, whatever. Anyway, what part of the concert he was like asked all these girls to come up on stage and be like, okay, if you come up and dance on stage, you can come back and meet Snoop. Well, I was not I was we were too good for that. Don't worry, I did not do that. But I did flirt my way backstage after the concert with the doorman. I was like, "Can I just go meet Snoop? We didn't come on, but da da." He's like, "Fine, you 3 go." And I looked at my friend, and I was like, "We're meeting Snoop Dogg." So we get backstage. This was probably the most awkward, like, 5 minutes of stayed longer than that, but the first in like, when we walk in, there's all these awkward, like, young girls standing there, don't know what to say. It's super awkward. He's, like, drinking champagne, smoking, like, a Philly blunt or something, and, like, we're walking in, and his remember he had that grandpa that was always in his videos?
Uncle,
His uncle oh, thank you.
or
His uncle. Well, he looks
I
like a
think his
grandpa.
uncle, yeah.
Anyway, so we sit down and we kind of like we sit down over by him because it was a little more comfortable and not so awkward. And anyway, the uncle starts hitting on one of our other friends. I was like, oh God. Anyway, his hairdresser was there. And at the time, I was hairdressing. And so we kind of bonded. It was a girl that did all of his braids. Anyway, so we kind of bonded. Anyway, we ended up going out. They invited us out after. It was cool. We met him. He was cool. That was our
That's
story. But
fun.
we met Snoop Dogg. The second time was the Backstreet Boys. So my girlfriend
Yes.
was dating Nick Carter, and unbeknownst to me, and my girlfriend was like, "Let's just go." It was back when they were kind of popular. Who cares? They were cheap tickets. They were nosebleeds. We're pulling in the parking lot, and my phone rings. And I answer it, and it's like, "Hey, Glory, it's Nick Carter." And I spit my coffee. I was drinking coffee all over my friend's, like, front dash, and I'm like, "Oh my god, hi, Nick. We're just pulling into your concert." He's like, "I'm with Liz. She says you're fun. Like, we come backstage, da, da, da." So anyway, we went there, came backstage, got to go on their tour bus. They actually asked us to go tour with our Canadian tour. I said no at the time. And you gotta remember, I'm like 21, 22
Yeah.
at the time. Like, I had to work the next day, so I was responsible back then, I'll tell you. I should have. I
Yeah.
remember my other girlfriend being, like, crying, being like, "Why are we not doing this?" But we did not. Anyway, those are my 2, like, kind of, concerty ones. I went to
Yeah.
I went to a
Other
hockey game
good
with Matthew Perry, that was kind of a cool one.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
Mhm.
My and now some of my favorite concerts would be, we saw Madonna in Yankee Stadium, besides her coming 3 hours late, of course,
Oh,
and it was
of
raining,
course.
but
Yeah.
it was just such an experience, and, Justin Timberlake and Jay-Z at Wrigley Field, which
Ooh,
was
that would
so
be
cool.
good.
I love those, mashup concerts, like, he would come do a song, that Jay-Z would come do too, and
Yeah,
Justin
yeah,
would come
yeah.
sing the hook to his songs.
I
It
remember
was
you
good.
went to
We're
that concert.
actually going to see another one in April, which is Nelly, Ja Rule, Eve, kind of all
Ooh,
those
all the old
people.
schools. Let me
Yeah.
preface those 2 other ones were not my favorite concerts. Those were just ones where I met the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a good story.
A good story. I am so excited can I talk about the concert that I'm so excited for coming up? We are going to see for
Mm.
those of you I know it's not your favorite, but for those of you who are Morgan Wallen fans, he's doing this Sand in My Boots, like, weekend, party, basically. There's a ton of amazing artists. It's in Orange Beach, Alabama, on the beach for 2 days. Tickets
Oh.
sold out in, like, an hour, and we managed to get some. We're going with another couple. I am so excited for this concert. It's going to
Will
be an
Jelly
adult
Roll be there?
Jelly Roll, there's a t I
Yeah.
wish I had the roster in front of me. There's a ton of amazing bands. It's like a
Ooh, we'll have to touch back on that.
ooh, it's gonna be so good. So that's a really good concert that's coming up. I'm also, one that I'm not really familiar with, but some people might be. I'm taking my son to Tyler, the Creator,
Mm.
which is like this I don't know if our audience knows him, but he's, like, blowing up. A lot of people know him. The kids are obsessed with him, so we're gonna go see
Yeah,
him in a few months.
he's of the same I know him 'cause, my nephew and stuff, but
Yeah.
he's also of the same, like, rap family, I don't know what you call them, as Frank Ocean, who I love.
Right, they all these kids middle like, these are, like,
I
high school.
know.
Love Frank Ocean. He hasn't put out anything, I don't think, since, like, 2018 or
No, and
something?
I mean, like, they're so well critically reviewed, his albums, and they're, like, not pop albums at
I
all,
know,
they're
it's,
quite
like, totally
slow and
different.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have to be in
Anyway.
a real vibe to for Frank Ocean.
Mhm.
So, yes, you come from a very musical family. We all know, like, I think every one of your siblings sings. Like, your dad is a recording artist and has recorded an album.
He has. It's on
One of his
eBay
best
for
songs.
$99, by the way. We looked it up, like, I was yeah, like, as
Oh,
a couple months ago, it's still online, so you can still
well,
buy it. Don Jewett,
Sorry,
plug.
Don, but it's on Apple Music for free. A
But you
and,
had the vinyl.
oh, yeah. His my favorite song of Don's, I have a few, but is, of course, "Glory."
Yeah,
He
my
wrote a
dad wrote a
song.
lullaby when I was born, it's the most beautiful song. I cannot listen to my dad sing this without, like, full on, ugly cry, because it's
Yeah.
just so beautiful. Yeah.
And at your wedding for your 40th birthday, I got a remix made of
Oh,
it,
that was
like
so cool, I forgot about that, we need to dig that out. Maybe that should be our soundtrack to our We're Not Sorry podcast.
maybe.
Okay, I love it.
Well, now it's time for one of my favorite segments of the podcast, Glory.
I can't wait, what
And
is
let
it?
me try a different voice because I feel like maybe I'll just try. It's time. And I feel like last episode I called it Educate the Straight. And I almost said it with like that monster voice like this. It's time to educate the straight, which almost sounds like aggressive and mean. So I thought maybe education for the straight nation. Does that
Ooh,
sound better?
a little bit, it's a little lighter.
Focusing on music this week as we're talking about it. Uh gay gay people, I feel like jump on the trends and get all the trends started. They're the ones that get behind these female pop artists and make them icons.
Yeah, I think
And I
some of
thought
them.
and
Mhm.
I thought that was interesting. Like gay men idolize these women. Like I have an ex who's obsessed with Jennifer Lopez. Like there was like a shrine in his house. Like it was like really like this deep rooted obsession. And I looked it up and I read this article about it. And this one quote I want to read where it says, "Beyond the loud standing and unwavering support, our fascination with female pop stars stems from the basic need to relate and to feel seen and understood. It's something gay men have a difficult time sourcing in heteronormative society. The pop star struggles to be taken seriously. It's a very familiar sentiment experienced by queer people." So they really hold on to these girls. They say queer men are the ones that like dominate the stan community because of the inherent connection, of course, with gay men and pop culture. Of course, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can
Um,
name like, a few artists that I feel like the gay pop like, even, like, some of the house like, what's Erica Jane from The Housewives, like, I
yeah,
feel like she's her total, like, like, her fan base is probably the
I
gay.
mean, I think it started from the greatest pop divas of our time. From I'm
Madonna,
sure, well, right, even before that, it was Diana Ross and
Cher,
Aretha
yeah,
Franklin,
mhm,
Cher, and then Mariah, and then
yeah,
of course now these new girls like Gaga, Nicki Minaj, Ariana Grande. A lot of the young gays are obsessed with, and I'm sure even more so now with Wicked and everything.
mhm.
But and it's funny, it says they know so much about them, right? They know like they're touring, they post about them, pictures of these women covered gay men's walls, but like for no other reason than just admiration. And it's always kind of the strong, independent females that they kind of latch on to.
Yeah, I
Now,
love it.
when I was kind of reading these articles about it, I was thinking, like, I don't know if I have that one diva that
Yeah, you have a lot of divas that you love, though.
yeah, like I love Miley Cyrus. I love her voice and her covers and
Mm,
her
I
kind
wasn't
of like
expecting you to say her.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say because I like look forward to things that comes out that she releases because they're all kind of so different and but I don't know. I wouldn't be a Miley stan, that's for sure.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
yeah, I've always kind of liked, rap music more so than kind of like the pop girly stuff. I remember, like, after brunch once, I had some gay guys back here, and, like, we're dancing after a few drinks and stuff, and I'm just playing all this, like, hip hop, and they're like, "Do you have anything better?" And I'm like, "Oh, right."
I feel
Like
that way with you. I don't mind some rap, I don't, but, like, you like the hardcore. After a while, I'm like, "Okay, it's time to switch this up." Like,
yeah,
you
I
could
don't know
listen
what
to that
it
all day.
is.
Yeah.
For ever since I was in grade 8, like, NWA, Straight Outta Compton was
But I
a
like some of
tape
the
I
older school stuff, but, like, I don't know, I don't know. Yeah,
yeah.
that's where we
Well, I
differ a
can't
little
wait
bit.
to see you at Tyler, the Creator, because you're not
I
going to
know.
like it.
listen, I'm gonna
It'll
I
be
like
good
it.
people watching.
Yep.
How many friends is your son bringing with?
No one. Do you know how expensive these tickets are?
Oh, it's just you and him?
Just us. Yeah, we're gonna do a little dinner and then go. It's gonna be our little
Fun.
date. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I would say Tyler, the Creator's like, kind of like an indie, like, rapper for, like, kind of like he's not like, rapping about, like, bottles of Cristal and diamonds,
No,
you
he's
know?
like
I
it's
find
a
he's
mix. I've
yeah.
listened to him.
And I
I
think he's gay. I believe so.
yeah, I'm not sure.
Alright, last up, it's our Ask Us Anything, the music edition, Gloria.
Ooh, I love our Ask Us Anything.
So, this one is fun, I thought. What is a song that you think would describe your life or would describe, like, an era of your life?
Like, we've kind of already talked about some of them. I obviously Glory were describes is probably the one that you
That
point
would be a
to
good one, yeah.
the most. I have so many, Keith. Like, it depends on the era. Like, I went through a grunge, Nirvana, like that
Totally.
whole vibe. Like, for a while, I was obsessed. Like, I bought the when he died, I bought the Rolling Stone cover. I kept it like perfect, pristine. Because I was like, this is gonna be worth money one
Yeah,
day. I've gone through so many different eras. So I don't know. Like, I don't think I can narrow. I think if I had to pick, it would be the one my dad obviously wrote about me because that was
yeah,
about me. How about you?
yeah. I don't know. I guess I should have thought about this before maybe. I would say, an album that would I mean, when I was, like, the end of high school, university, like, The Chronic 2001, that Dr. Dre album, like, I mean, that was,
Oh,
like, the soundtrack of our
I
life at the
love
time.
old school, like, hip hop. Like, anytime I have a party now, after a certain point in the night, we turn
Totally.
on old school hip hop. If you ever wanna have a banger of a party, listen to me. This is what you need to do. Download if you're like, it depends on what you are, but, like, it's like hip hop barbecue or, like, there's old school 90s, like, hip hop. It
Totally.
will guarantee an amazing party because everyone
Yeah.
knows it. People, like, what it turns it up to the next level.
Oh,
Next
I've got
question.
one. Who's your musician hall pass? Like, who's the
Oh god.
hottest musician?
Like, I've gotta think about this. You go first. Who are you? Who's yours?
Musician wise, well, actually, this is kind of weird because when I was first coming into my sexuality was grade 5 Keith, who we talked to earlier today. But it was so funny because
Bobby.
the bands that were coming out were like Poison and White Lion and Motley Crue. These hot guys, but look like complete like full faces of makeup and teased
Right.
hair and stuff. So I was like, good, like, they're hot, but they look like women, like, am I bisexual? Even though I probably didn't know the term for that then, so it was kinda confusing at the time, but I did like the rocker like that back in the day, but I would say, like, to that, like, Lenny Kravitz, like,
Oh,
oozes
really?
sex, I think.
I mean, Lenny Kravitz, I will give him style points all day long.
And
He's a good-looking
Jackson
man.
Brown from the '70s.
Yeah. I think back in the day, like, my crush was, like, Eddie Vedder. Like, I thought he was so
Okay.
hot. Yeah.
Or
I
Chris
don't know,
Cornell
late
was a really nice looking gr remember
yeah,
Soundgarden? He had that long hair.
yeah.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
about
She doesn't
lately. I feel like
note
there's just
to note to self. She doesn't like Soundgarden.
I mean, it's okay. Okay. What's the next question?
And the last question is, I think we actually kind of talked about it, was someone that's just hot because of their talent.
Well, many of them. Uh,
Yeah, like Steven Tyler, you would maybe like see
well,
old
back in
school.
the day, I think Steven Tyler had sex
Yeah, me
appeal.
too.
Yeah.
Mick
Uh,
Jagger's sex appeal on stage, like,
yeah, like, I saw the Rolling Stones, not like, I guess it was a couple
yeah,
years ago
that
now, and
was
let me
my
tell you,
ticket.
those oh, right.
Rub it in, bitch.
Keith and I were supposed to go see the Rolling Stones, and why you something happened, you couldn't come,
I
so
can't remember.
I just started dating Eric. I was like, "Do you wanna go see the Rolling Stones?" I thought it was so cool. He's like, "Yeah." So he took Keith's
I
ticket.
bet.
It was a
Fucker.
good concert, and let me tell you, they're looking old, but they still put on a fantastic show. It was amazing.
Oh,
It was a
yeah.
great that was up there with, like, top 5 concerts I've seen for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they were
mean,
good.
just the stage presence alone. amazing.
Okay, how about you? Who else? Like, who would you say?
Um,
I mean, there's a lot. How about, like,
oh,
French
ASAP
Montana? I don't
Rocky.
find him hot. What?
No, ASAP Rocky's very nice looking, Rihanna's husband,
I thought
and
we're talking about musicians that are, like, you think they have a little bit of sex appeal because they
oh,
are
that's right.
musicians. Yeah,
Right.
like, maybe French Montana because I love his music.
Maybe, but he's just so Diddy associated.
We're not gonna go there.
Oh, one other thing we do need to talk about before this episode ends is the Heidi and Spencer of it all.
Oh, you know what? Let's talk about it. Okay.
The
I
song
mean, they have
is
been villains.
ridiculous.
The song is ridiculous,
I've
but
been
they have
listening. At first, ironically, and now I'm like,
oh,
I'll do it.
now it's on your
Yeah.
playlist? Oh, you know what? They
I'm
lost
not sorry
everything.
about it. I'm not
My
sorry.
heart goes out to everyone in California. That is
Yeah.
horrific. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely. I can't imagine losing everything, you know? So I'm happy for them. Good for them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I love
I
it. They
don't love
seem
the
happy.
song-ish, but, it's not something I'd probably go to,
No,
but
and the lyrics are quite raunchy, but
I'm sure,
I
but
mean, I just am jumping on board and
you know
giving
what
them
I kinda like
support.
about him is he's just such a proud first of all, who knew that they would last the test of time,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like, back in the Hills days, like, who knew? But he's just such a proud husband and such a supporter, it seems anyway,
Yep,
that,
and he's so funny. I find him really funny.
they're making a comeback. Who knew? Because they were really villainized back in the day, like, they sort of fell off the map, right? Like, as, like, definitely C-D list celebrities where no one wanted to give them any work. So, you know
Yeah,
what? Good for them. I'm all about
and now they're
comeback
coming
stories.
back and
That's
everyone's
how I feel about
behind
that.
them, so I love it. So let's end with a
Yeah.
little Heidi and Spencer. Thanks,
Oh.
everybody.
Woo! Thanks
See
for
you next
listening.
episode.